Got a question. Ever felt like your thoughts get tangled up? Like they make sense in your head but not out loud? Welcome to Leave It to Larimore, the space where we slow down, speak up, and sort it all out. No experts, no script, just real talk, real people, and a real understanding. I'm your host, Bryant Larimore, and together, we're untangling life, one conversation at a time. Let's talk about it. So, today's conversation is one that started with my buddy, and in his preparation for his wedding, I just kind of felt like it was necessary for us to really kind of have the real clear discussion about kind of what that really represents and what it means. You know, and I really feel like, and again, I'm no professional, no expert. However, in this one category, I would consider myself almost extremely experienced. But I say that to say, you know, I think that we have such a grave misconception of the wedding process, you know, and we really miss the validity, like the real meaning of what all of that really stands for, you know. And we go to the wedding and we hear the officiant make the statement, you know, if there's anyone here who feels as if these two should not be married, let them speak now or forever hold their peace. You know, that place is the place where if you have an issue or a quorum, a doubt, that is where you get up and you speak your mind. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that that is where you break the two up, but that is definitely the space to where if you have an issue with him or if you've had an issue with her and you see, no, they're not gonna work. He too sorry, he too lazy, he don't like to work. And she complain all the time and she nag, they gonna break up. That is the time that opportunity and that space is given for you to say that. And then they go on to say, you know, if not, then now you speak or forever hold your peace. So if you do not have a reason why these two should not be joined together, this is your opportunity to speak or forever hold your peace. Because this is your opportunity to have the complaint about what this person was or was not for the person that you feel like they are worthy or not worthy of. But the charge to the people that are left, that responsibility to them, because they observe the same question, that now obligates them to being witness to keep you guys together. That is then their responsibility to make sure that when she comes and she says, I'm tired of him and he's not doing this and he's not doing that, that is their responsibility to say, no, remember the commitment. You didn't say, you know, as long as you was happy. You said for better or for worse. You got to put the time in. You have to consider that. And for him, when he gets to say, man, I'm tired of this, she not doing this, this, and this, I'm gonna get out here and it's his support system that is supposed to say, no, bro, that's not what you agreed to. That's not the stance that you said that you was gonna take. And it then becomes an accountability factor to hold you guys together. So then I asked the question, who in her corner? Who is in her corner that is going to make sure that when she decides to go off the deep end and she wants to do something else and she's not comfortable and she's not happy, who in that corner is going to say, no, you made a commitment, you have a obligation to your responsibility of your relationship. You're not being abused, you're not being beat up, you're not being verbally and physically and mentally abused, you're just unhappy. This is the worst. Who in your corner is gonna put that level of accountability back on your back? And when you decide, bro, I can't do this no more, like I'm tired, I done put up with as much as I can put up with, I'm finna do something different. Who do you have that's gonna say, no, that's not what you said you was gonna do? It gets tough sometimes. Yes, it gets hard. But because you made an obligation, because you made a commitment, you gotta honor that. And those responsibilities are what you have to take in consideration. Who am I going to invite that's going to turn around and hold me to that level of accountability? And those are the people that I need to invite to the wedding. Because if they're not going to do that, they're only there for a spectacle. And it's not worth the investment of having to provide a show for someone who doesn't even have an interest in whether or not the show has a repeat episode or can keep playing. I think that, so often it's really not taken in full consideration the responsibility of what community does for our relationships. And having the right community allows the accountability that goes back to where we see marriages that last and relationships that last because they're not built off of comfort. They're built off of the substance that really makes things matter, like your word. Like when your word has value and you've committed to something, and you don't do it just because it's easy or convenient or you actually felt like it. No, because it was the commitment that you made. It was a vow that you took. Now, if you include within those vows to have and to hold, to trust, through the good, through the bad, or until I'm uncomfortable, then this whole conversation does not apply to you. But if you took the vows that really excluded the comfort out of it, and it really hinged on the ability to make a decision and stick with it. And I know through my experience that I've had to learn that that's what that meant. I didn't know, because for me, growing up, the only real example I've seen of marriage was The Cosby Show, I Love Lucy, Family Matters. The shows in which they did not show conflict. They did not show discord. They did not show separation. They didn't mention divorce. And so with my relationship experience, the moment that I seen that it was not happy and wasn't pleasant, then I felt like, oh no, this can't be what they were showing me that marriage resembled and what marriage looked like. And it was conversations like this that was necessary for me to understand that there may be hills and there may be valleys, but to go through those terrains together is the purpose of what this is. To include the fact that within the mindset of those two individuals, you are taking 6 different worlds and bringing them together. You have that wife who has a mother and a father, and her concepts from her mother and her father and herself, because the mother and father didn't have themselves as parents. So the worlds that they know, that child, their daughter, has a different experience from them. Likewise to that husband. His dad and his mom did not have them for parents. So the experience that they provide for that son is different than what they've experienced. So you have 3 worlds on the left and 3 worlds on the right coming together to make one world. And we are taking the approach as if this is supposed to be a simple process. That this is going to be something that in a few months, in a year or so, I should have had figured out. And I believe that that is an unrealistic mindset. It is designed for us to give our life to the relationship, because it should take about that length of time for us to discover how to merge a world. To indulge in the thought that what we are creating is much bigger than us, because when we show up, we don't show up just representing us. We represent everything behind us. And we take this wedding in such a ritualistic format and not even encompassing what the true meaning of what the value of that is. And we're doing it because we've just been conditioned to do it in the way that we've seen it done. There was a story I heard about this guy who told his wife, "I love the way you make chicken and dressing, but I don't understand why you cut the wings off the turkey and dressing." And she said, "Well, my mom taught me how to cook it, and she always cut the wings off the turkey, so that's what I cut the wings off the turkey." So he went to his mother-in-law and he said, "Mother-in-law, you make such a good turkey and dressing. You taught my wife how to make such a good turkey and dressing, but why do you cut the wings off?" And she said, "That's how I was taught. My mom taught me to make the turkey and dressing and to cut the wings off." So he went to the grandmother and he said, "You taught your daughter and you taught my wife how to make the best turkey and dressing, but why do you cut the wings off?" And she said, "They still cutting the wings off. I only did that because my pot was too little." And we absolutely have the turkey and dressing mindset, where we do things without finding the origin, the reason. And we just repeat what we see without finding out the why. And your why will always be your drive to the amount of effort that you put in. And if that why is important, the effort will be great. And if your why is weak, the effort will be poor. I think that it's important for us to establish, in a time where marriages are so distant and so fragile and really have no fortitude to make it, I think this makes for a good conversation as to why we move the way we do in marriage and in weddings, to at least establish an understanding of who we're going to invite to this wedding and why are we inviting them. This is just some of the thoughts from Leave It to Larimore. And like always, I can't wait to talk about it. Until next time. Hey, appreciate you for tapping in with Leave It to Larimore. This is where thoughts get untangled and understanding gets built. Remember, you don't need a title to have a voice, and you don't need all the answers to start the conversation. If something from today's episode made you think, hit that follow button, share with somebody, and keep the convo going. I'm Brian Larimore, and until next time, keep thinking, and keep talking, and keep growing. This is Leave It to Larimore.